Welcome back to the Demon Tweeks channel. In this episode, we're looking at pedals. Again, I've got Gaz with me to kind of guide me through on what's important and what I need to know. First things first, Gaz, I assume this is 2 sets of pedals and you don't need 6 pedals for sim racing?
No, you just need 3, just like the real life GT3 car, Joe.
Awesome, I'm glad I'm a genius. And then I'm also assuming that this side are better, purely if it follows motorsport, the fancier looking must be better, but unfortunately I'm guessing more expensive too.
They are fancier and they are more expensive, but they give you a much better feel, so who doesn't want that?
Exactly, and I think when I look at these pedals, for me in a real race car, the throttle pedal is quite easy. It's either quiet or loud. The clutch pedal is normally good or embarrassing, and then once I get on track, I don't actually need that one. So for me, the centre one is the important, the brake pedal.
It's no wonder you go so slow, Joe, because you'll find the accelerator is on the right-hand side there, and not the left. That's the clutch.
I had a 1 in 3 chance and I still got it wrong. And when I have a feel of them, even though obviously they're not bolted down, and I can bench press 400 kilos, but this one straight away has so much more feedback and strength. So I assume that's going to give me more modulation.
Yeah, you'll get more consistency, more feel with these Ultimate Plus pedals. They are top of the range.
And then in terms of sort of the weight of hit, how much can I give it in real life? We're looking in the region of 100 to 110 kilos of force, either if you left foot brake, right foot, or actually I middle foot brake.
Okay, well the Ultimates will give you up to 135 kilograms. So you can replicate that in the Heusinkveld software, which is amazing. So you can replicate it from 10 kilograms or up to 135 to get your perfect feel as if you are your GT3 race car.
And you talk about software, I actually do have a simulator at home. Unfortunately, it is with an inferior product. And every time I fire it up, I'm having to install new software and drivers. How does the software work for this brand?
The software works separately for both of these pedals, but they work very similar. So the Ultimates you can just download and you'll get pre-settings. So if you're in a GT3 car, a pre-setup is made for you. So if you're not too geeky like you just load up their software. But if you are a bit of a geek, then you can fine-tune them yourself. Small increments, bigger increments, you can do whatever you want.
Excellent. So we've obviously got 2 sets here. This first set here, what are they?
So these are the Heusinkveld sprint pedals. These are the next step up from if you've got a set of Thrustmaster, Logitech or even Fanatec. These are load cell pedals, will give you again an amazing feel, and again with the dampers and the brake pedal you can change these to hard, soft or medium.
Excellent. The build quality of them feels brilliant. They look like they would be able to take some serious abuse for years and years as well.
Yes, well that's the clutch pedal, so you probably use that a lot, to be honest, Joe. If you expect with the accelerator, you can change the resistance on that as well. You can move the angles up, so it will be stronger and stiffer.
Everyone likes stronger and stiffer, so I'd say no negatives whatsoever in that. So we've already touched on this second set. What are they exactly?
These are the Heusinkveld Ultimate Plus pedals. So the main difference in these pedals, the bigger, more robust, and they've got a hydraulic damper in the centre there. So this hydraulic damper will give you better pedal modulation. It'll make it much smoother as well. Same scenario again with the rubbers, you can change these, but you've got a lot more different options you can choose. Okay. These rubbers come in the pack as well.
Great, so I can imagine if I was doing maybe a sprint race, I could run a harder, stiffer one, but if I'm doing an endurance sim race and I'm lazy, I could even go for a softer one, so I don't have to put so much effort through the pedals?
Yeah, that's correct, and it's literally a 2-minute job to change them over as well.
Brilliant. So in essence, what you're saying, these are brilliant pedals, but fortunately, unfortunately, because I'm used to real life GT3, these pedals are going to feel so similar.
Yeah, these pedals are being designed specifically for GT3 drivers, so what you feel in your race car, you can now feel at home.
Okay, amazing. Sounds like we're going to have to put them on that rig. I'm going to have a go and see what they feel like. So with the pedals, they seem relatively easy to fit actually, even for someone of your skill level. So that was great, and they're actually able to be in the position where exactly I want them for comfort and sort of feel of what I'm used to in real life. We've obviously got a nice background there. I remember racing that car with a few other guys, John Mincher at Demon Tweeks extraordinaire at Spa 24. So yeah, fond memories of that. Anyway, back to real life. Historically, with pedals, I always feel it's worth putting a bit of effort into getting them where you want them, how they should feel. And for me, my main motivation here really is to try and bridge the gap from real life GT3 to sim world GT3. So if we can load up those preset profiles, that'd be brilliant in terms of just trying to hone in that sort of familiarity that I have.
So we've just basically brought up the Heusinkveld calibration table, bit of software you can download from their website.
Yeah.
Easy to use, even for me, Joe.
Perfect.
So we're going to calibrate your pedals to make sure that the pedals are in the rest position, which they are. Right, okay, so the throttle pedal is first, so you push that as far as it can go, and then keep your foot there. And then your most important thing now is your brake one, so you're going to put the force that you feel that you do in your GT3 car in real life, and just see what we get on kilogram. See if you're strong or see if you're weak. So go with that, and hold it.
Oh, and hold?
Yeah.
That's a different game.
Okay, let go. And now your clutch pedal, this will be even more difficult for you. Clutch, not throttle. Perfect.
Thank you.
Right, so we'll save that now, and then we'll go into the profile of what we've created.
Oh, wow. So actually that's really similar in terms of GT3. That is bang on 140 kilos of force is where we are. And it's a big hit, but that's the sort of hit that you need to get the ABS activated in the high speed when you've got aero. And I think what's really interesting here for me, like, so if I hit that again, we're seeing that sort of high kilograms with my left leg, sort of 120. If I go to my right leg and I get the clutch at the same time,
That's good.
I'm barely getting 100. So it shows you the strength difference. And it's interesting to be able to see the data behind that, because in the real world, I just know my right leg feels weaker. And when I try and do a bit of right foot braking, I normally run off wide or hit a wall. So I know that's worse. So that's why I tend to stick with my left foot brake-wise there. Everything else on the braking looks normal. That dead zone, it seems a bit odd to me in relation to a real world, because we would have 0 dead zone, because as soon as you touch the brake pedal, the fluid moves through and the brakes activate. So I would want no dead zone whatsoever, purely on the basis of as soon as I touch the brake, it's because I want the car to be braking. So it may be a slight difference from real world to sim world in that regard, but great that you can choose what you want. And I assume some sim guys do want a dead zone. If they slightly rest their foot on the brake pedal, potentially it stops any activation of the brake pressure there. And then throttle wise, I guess what looks different to me to what I would want, and is interesting again to the real world, I spend a lot of time when we develop a car in the throttle map shape, and I'll show you why. If I go full throttle here and I have a slight lift, I don't want a full lift, I just want to feather the throttle so the front of the car would have more grip. I find it quite hard to replicate a consistent lift. I'm literally trying to lift 5-10% here, but that is always sort of...
It's dropping down quite a lot, isn't it, really?
75-60%. So I would want more of an S-shaped throttle map. So I don't know on that curve type where it says linear. Oh, wow.
Oh, there we go.
Lots, yeah. So
this is something I've not gone into in too much detail myself. I don't get a great deal of time to do with the settings and stuff. I tend to just download.
Because you're so slow, you don't have any time.
That's my excuse, to be honest.
Your time's just taken up with slow laps. Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, if I go full throttle now and do my slight lift, 91.
Okay, I've got you there.
92. Yeah, so I can replicate that within a percent, and it's a smaller lift, which is exactly what I want. For example, at Silverstone, Abbey, new turn 1, I don't want a full lift. I want just enough to get that front end in, put a bit of weight on the front axle, and that's going to be easier to replicate, but also a smaller lift, so should be faster in theory.
Should be faster.
I'll put the should in the theory. Excuses can come before the mistake.
I think it's happening right here live, to be honest, Jeff.
I think that's fine. So that's brilliant. I mean, the customizable nature of that is going to open up so much to what you need, I guess. As much as the car setup in some regard, the inputs from the pedals are as important of what the car's going to do. So amazing.
I mean, pedal-wise is the thing on sim racing that is most important for lap time, not only for the single lap, but consistency on a long run. So you need a good set of pedals under your feet, again, to have that consistent lap time, lap after lap after lap.
Yeah.
And let's get rid of that dead zone as you asked me to do, which I didn't. So there you go. And then all we do here is save as the active profile. And that's it. You're ready to go, hit the circuit, and we need to see what you're made of.
Perfect. Let's go, baby. Right, so I always think, in real life, I tend to have a quick feel of the pedals when possible, just to get a feel of it. And it's great to have the visualization of what iRacing's seeing in my inputs there, so I kind of know my maximums and minimums straight away.
So again, you have that muscle memory on brakes.
Yeah, exactly. So it just means there's one less thing to have to worry about when I get onto track. I have to say the throttle is the big change for me, having that adaptability coming off, but also going on that slightly slower ramp up to throttle. The brake pedal is nice and really easy to replicate good pressure. And I think what's interesting as well, I'm able to see the ABS is active on the dash, so I know I've got enough brake pressure on and I don't need to waste any energy in applying more.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. So the TC got on 4, so it's quite low, so that linear, non-linear, the S-type curve on the throttle is going to stop the TC coming in and get more traction, stop the computers trying to override you as a driver to get out the corners.
Yeah, no one can control me. And it's sometimes hard. I know ABS 11 is almost maximum, and that wouldn't be something we'd be running on a dry dirt Silverstone with new tyres. We'd be looking more like 2 or 3. So I guess in that regard, the more important thing is to not hit that apex curb. But the more important thing is to really just work out what the car wants in this regard. And the better your equipment, the better you're going to feel that. And so the more you'll know what you'll need. And I would be probably ABS 3 or 4, to be honest.
Let's go with 4.
Okay, and let's see how it feels. So I'm expecting in real world scenario to be able to brake a bit later because there's less ABS intervention. So the wheel, the tyre is able to lock a bit more. I like it there. I'm not slow down, it's not fast down. But obviously, like I said, it's going to be different real world to game world, to see sim world, see how it is.
When they're getting closer, you know.
Yeah. But we only have to see how much they're using the sim in Formula 1, and that's only becoming more and more important as a growing trend. So as computing power keeps improving, I'd assume that trend is only going to grow stronger and truer. That was interesting. It wouldn't let me downshift there. And it's exactly the same as real life. There's a bump in that brake zone, which causes the rear axle to lock, and the gearbox doesn't want to do a downshift when it's locked because it could potentially put 2 gears together. So the accuracy of that is absolutely insane.
Oh, didn't get a 1X, no off tracks there, no cheating, it's the first.
Let's see. Just struggling a little bit to get my braking point in there, which is all on me. Oh, that's frustrating. So maybe I'm learning a lot, and the quality of this product is potentially highlighting some of the lack of quality I currently possess for the simulator. But the good thing is everything we're changing is making it better for me. So I'm just going to put it down to, I just need more laps to catch you up and then beat you later on, I guess. So it's been an enjoyable start. Well, that was amazing to get a feeling of them. These Heusinkvelds are unreal, especially when we downloaded that software and put the preset in of the GT3 mapping for the pedal. I couldn't tell the difference if you blindfolded me. My lap time might have been worse, but honestly, they're the best sim pedals I've ever felt.
Yeah, these are a lot more consistent, and once we have a bit more time, we'll be able to fine-tune the brake pedal for you, get a few more kilograms here or there, and hopefully we'll get a bit more lap time out of you.
I mean, that's music to my ears. You're already treating me like the princess I am, and I deserve to be. So, Gaz, surprisingly, thank you for your help and your insight to all the pedals and everything that comes with it. The important bit for you guys is to remember that these are all available on the Demon Tweeks website. The links are in the description below, but even more importantly, remember to hit subscribe so you get to see all our other sim-related videos.